Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video we'll learn the essential pentatonic string bends that every guitar player needs to know. So we all know bending is an essential technique for great guitar solos, but let me ask you this, do you really know which notes you should be bending and where you need to bend them to? Well, by the end of this video you're going to learn how to play classic pentatonic bends, tasty bluesy bends and sweet melodic bends. And not only that, if you stay to the end, you'll see how you can use all these bends together to build up a full guitar solo. Now, I know that sounds a lot for one video, but we're going to keep it really simple by using just one shape that you probably already know, the classic E minor pentatonic. This shape often gets written off for being too basic, but I promise, with the bending techniques coming up, we're going to go beyond that cliche pentatonic sound. But for now, let's kick off with the classic pentatonic bends. So let's start in the obvious place with the pentatonic root note bend. Now for this bend, we want to take the second note on the B string in our E minor pentatonic shape. This note here, this D at the 15th fret, we want to bend this note up to our root note of E. Now this is called a full bend and gives the note equivalent to 2 frets higher. This note, now this is also the same as the note on the 12th fret here on the top E string, so you can use that note to check your tuning against. So, bend up, check my tuning. Aim to have the bend perfectly in tune. This is a really powerful bend because it so strongly outlines our root note, which makes it a great place to either start or end your solos, and you'll hear an example of this shortly. Now in terms of technique, it's best to play full bends with your third finger here, but use the first 2 fingers to provide extra strength. And you should practice being able to make the bend quickly like this, or allowing it to rise gently, which gives some extra feel along the way. Our second classic pentatonic bend is the pentatonic fifth, where we're going to play the second note on the G string from our E minor pentatonic shape. This note, this A at the 14th fret, we're going to make a full bend up to a B. Now this time you can check your tuning against the 12th fret on the B string. Now I like to call this the universal bend because it's the note that guitarists bend more than any other, and it has so many uses, from darker minor sounding licks to brighter major sounding licks to Chuck Berry style rock and roll licks. Now for both of these bends you should practice being able to bend up and back down. And in terms of vibrato, it's often best to bend up without vibrato, and then once the correct pitch is found, you can start to shake the note a little. So now let's hear these classic pentatonic bends in context with the track. So now we've got the basic pentatonic sound down, let's take it up a level with some tasty blues flavour. Let's start with the microtonal blues bend, and for this bend we're at the 12th fret on the G string, which is the note G, a minor third in our E minor scale. And what we want to do is just very slightly allow this note to bend sharp. It's called a microtonal bend because we're not actually aiming for another note. What we're looking for is around a quarter note bend halfway between this G and the G sharp at the next fret. If we bend up too far and arrive at the G sharp, it will create an E major sound, which is definitely not what we want. We just want to push the G slightly out of tune, which gives us a really classic blues sound. So for this to work best, we need the unbent G note to sound first, and then we bend up just before we move on to the next note. We need to be a little bit careful where we use this bend. It works best over the E minor chord, but over a G major chord, for example, it might sound too out of tune. Now the second blues bend we'll look at is the blue note bend, and once again we're bending this A at the 14th fret of the G string as we did earlier in the video, but this time instead of a full note bend we're going to play a half bend, which gives the note 1 fret higher, this B flat here at the 15th fret. And now you can really hear the blues in that, and that's because this note is the flat 5, known as the blue note, and adding in this note turns the pentatonic scale into the blues scale. Now my favourite way to play this bend is actually to pre-bend the note up before I pluck the string and then let it bend down, which gives a really tasty blues sound. So now I'll solo again and just listen out for how these bends take us away from that straight pentatonic sound and bring in some real blues feel. Now before we go on, just a quick word on finger pain and blisters. So bending is very harsh on those fingertips and it will cause you pain at first. Now I've been playing a very long time and my fingers are pretty robust, but before making this video I've not touched a guitar for about 5 weeks and it has caused me some pain doing all these bends. Now my advice would be, if you do start to feel it, don't wait till it's bleeding, just take a break for a day or two and then come back to it. And over time, those fingertips will harden up and you will be able to play these bends. Anyway, on with the video. Now if you're looking to go beyond the pentatonic, then our last 2 bends are going to transform this pentatonic shape into the full minor scale and enable us to play much more melodic lines. We'll start here. 14th fret on the high E. Now this note, F sharp, isn't part of our E minor pentatonic, but if we use it to half step bend up to the G at the 15th fret, it adds a really beautiful 9th sound into our solo. Now you can freely use this bend in pretty much any style and it should work. Secondly, 12th fret of the B string, which is a B, so a half step bend here gives us a C, which works really well over a G chord when we want to use these 2 notes together to create a sus4 effect. So imagine you're playing a G sus4 down here, and normally your first finger will be playing this C on the B string at the 1st fret, and then we can release off to the open B. Now we're creating that exact same effect in our solo using this bend. So let's go back to the track and hear these melodic bends in action. So now we've looked at pentatonic, bluesy and melodic bends, I'm going to solo one last time combining all these techniques together. And what you'll see is that by changing my focus each time the chord progression repeats, I'm able to build out a full guitar solo just using these basic ideas. So I hope you found this tutorial useful. Now, if you want to expand your pentatonic playing beyond the shape we used here, then watch this video up here. And if you want to learn more about getting the blue note into your playing, then this video down here. But for now, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.